All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Shit. I kind of.
This is way over the edge. Like we it's not even over the edge. We died already.
This is beyond the event horizon. Like we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, negotiations, right? Politics.
And we're out of time. So you.
Hey, all gravity, any day above ground, live it.
I'm back.
All right, so we're back in the saddle. So I just want y'all to understand where we're about to go right now. The person you see on the bottom of the thumbnail is Horace Cooper. Now, I know a lot of people didn't know who this man was up until I put up that video the other night. He works for Project 21. And if you never heard of Project 21, they're basically a conservative think tank. They've been in operation since 1982. We're going to go over what they are known for and what they're advocating for. We're also going to talk about this white man right here, Sean Dunn. Sean Dunn is the infamous Subway sandwich thrower. And you won't believe what happened to him. We're going to get into all that. And we're going to go down that rabbit hole. Because old Horace was making the rounds on conservative media, talking about crime and all that. And we found the new bootlick. But anyway, before we get into all that, let's see who's in the building. Gamers Den, hello. Reparations Nation, hello. Wallow J, hello. Cosmo Fury, hello. Zavon, hello. Don P, hello. And for those who haven't said anything in the live chat or the comments, hello. And as we do, since we're going to be watching videos and reading articles, we want to make sure that we do the customary house cleaning.
Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now go to start the.
Let me go here. There's a growing concern.
All right, so we're on the website for Project 21. Now, this is under the banner of the National Center for Public Policy Research. So really quick, what they do is they are a nonpartisan, free market, independent, conservative think tank. Independent conservative. The National Center's programs include the Project 21 Black Leadership Network, the Free Enterprise Project, Able Americans, and the Environment and Enterprise Institute. Their mission is to grow the freedom movement by taking our message to new constituencies to secure liberty now and for future generations. Their vision is to become the most innovative and efficient advocate of individual liberty. And they have jobs open. So let's see. David A. Rittenauer is the chairman. Daniel D. Faro is the president. David Almasi is executive vice president and chief operating officer. Rachel Barkley is Able Americans director. Wendy is the media relations specialist. Jennifer is the digital media specialist. Bonner Cohen is a senior fellow. And there's our boy, or their boy, as the case may be, Horace Cooper, senior fellow and Project 21 chairman. And we continue. We have another black man, Terrace Todd, and Amy Rittenauer, I'm guessing, was the founder. Oh, Rittenauer. Sorry, Rittenauer. I'm not saying a word, but I'm sure we're all thinking it. Fine. Why do y'all want me to say it? Because we're in the vortex? Fine. I'll say it. I apologize in advance, Most High. She looks like John Candy and Louis Anderson did the fusion dance.
Oh, I don't like saying that. Oof.
That's all I'm going to say. Terrace Todd, Project 21 Director of Coalitions and Outreach. He recently served as advisor of coalitions engagement at the Heritage Foundation. 2020, Terrace was appointed by the White House to be the executive director of the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for African Americans in the U.S. Department of Education, where he focused on working with educational professionals in the public and private sectors to elevate and bring awareness to the challenges faced by African American students in the country, and on leveraging resources to help ensure students are prepared for college and productive careers that contribute to the well-being of society. I wonder if he said anything post-pandemic. What immigration policy means for Black America. I'm almost scared to click this, but maybe he'll say something of note. Let's look.
Get to work!
The former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan once said that credibility in immigration policy can be summed up in one sentence. Those who should get in, those who should be kept out are kept out, and those who should not be here will be required to leave. Go to project21.org and download a free copy of Project 21's What Immigration Policy Means for Black America for solutions that we believe will be of help to us all.
Well, there's that. Okay. Anyway, we continue. My fault. I kicked myself out. All right, let's go back to the subject of the live, Mr. Horace Cooper. He got less of a bio than old Terrace, but okay. Horace Cooper is a senior fellow with the National Center for Public Policy Research, chairman of the Project 21 National Advisory Board, and a legal commentator. Horace averages over 400 talk radio appearances per year, representing the National Center and Project 21, in addition to regular television appearances and interviews by the print media. Now, y'all can tell me if you've ever heard of this dude on the radio. That's at least one a day. Larry Elder would be pissed. Pissed. Say it. Horace taught constitutional law at George Mason University in Virginia and was a senior counsel to U.S. House Majority Leader Dick Armey. Or Armey. Now, for those who saw the video the other day, he said something very interesting, which is why we're here today. I believe it was this.
Meanwhile, as President Trump is trying to make our city safer, Democrats think they know he.
Hold on, we're going to switch.
Know what he's exactly motivated by. You guessed it, racism.
I think it's very notable that each and every one of the cities called out by the president has a black mayor, and most of those cities are seeing historic lows in violent crime.
The president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men, and so of course he would speak in those petite and puerile terms.
Do you think there's race driving this?
I won't say that's like the totality of it, but I absolutely think it is. Yes, there are homicides in my city. Yes, there is crime, but we don't think the same prescription of help is necessary.
What doesn't he get?
Lord have mercy. I don't want to say it.
Jesus Christ. Is this a joke? Huh? Are you joking right now?
Why did, bruh, somebody tell this man, go get some sleep. This man looked like a whole vampire. Come on, bruh. Hey, you black folk in New York that are around this man, how do y'all let this man keep going outside like this? Now, I know Fox News picked the worst picture, but god damn it. I know what is he, 84? God, Jesus.
Damn! God damn! God damn!
What?
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
Y'all got no, y'all don't care nothing about elderly folk. I get it though.
Get to work!
President Trump's approach is to protect the people that didn't vote for him in most of those inner cities. Protect them. If you're a criminal, you're probably not happy. If you're not, you.
Did you hear what the white man said? We're gonna play it again.
President Trump's approach is to protect the people that didn't vote for him in most of those inner cities. Protect them. If you're a criminal, you're probably not happy. If you're not, you should be happy. Al Sharpton is coming up with his own term to describe the president's methods.
Mr. President, you've named other cities, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Oakland, all cities with black mayors. Is that your calculus here, Mr. President? Why are you only having a segregated intervention?
Wow. Did he say surrogated? Did he say surrogated? That's a crazy picture, by the way. He looked like a whole Batman villain.
cities with black mayors. Is that your calculus here, Mr. President? Why are you only having a segregated intervention?
Segregated. Shout out to Al, boy. Segregated. That should become a drop. We're still deciding. Segregated.
Get to work!
Wow. I got to dissect this with Horace Cooper, chairman of Project 21. So why is the president picking black cities?
The president isn't picking black cities. The president is trying to solve a problem. And it happens that black Americans who didn't give him a majority of their votes are going to be the beneficiaries. Let me explain something, Brian.
I mean, at this point, he in office, and we know these politicians, they don't care about the black vote until it's time to get the black vote. They're telling you how much they care about your safety.
When OPEC gets together and they set oil prices, we know what their plan is. Their plan is to benefit themselves. They're not concerned about what happens to people out all across this country, poor working class people, middle class people, or whoever. Well, there is a cabal. It is made.
I just want y'all to also understand that conservatives they found out about the word cabal around when Hillary was running, and they can't keep that word out of their vocabulary. They're going to run it into the ground like they do everything else. See, we knew about cabal when we played Mortal Kombat 3 and how OP he was. Let me guess, y'all didn't like that joke, right? I get it.
Y'all trying to get me go to hell.
Y'all gonna leave me alone. I better see some laughing emojis up in there.
Up of NGOs. It is made up of think tanks, some elected leaders who
say it again.
Or whoever. Well, there is a cabal. It is made up of NGOs. It is made up of think tanks, some elected leaders elected officials who benefit from maintaining the status quo. They do not wish to see any improvement, because if you can show that these common sense approaches will solve the problem in Washington, D.C., other cities will soon start getting asked, why aren't you solving our problems?
If you walk.
Right. And then you can institute the police state, then 15-minute cities. And then y'all going to say, we had to do this to protect you. Submission through fear. Y'all are not slick.
The city streets in Washington, you get your own people poll. Most are pleased to see the bulked up police presence. Anthony Coley, an NBC contributor, had this to say about life in D.C. in terms of criminal behavior. Watch.
I live in Washington. This is personal for me. Many people are frustrated with crime that we see, particularly committed by juveniles. The DC Council has a role to play here. Some of the laws that they have passed are not as strong as they could be for juvenile offenders and for reoffenders.
Did Al Sharpton have the audio up in his office when Anthony was speaking? Because they both work for NBC.
Okay, I wasn't explicit. I should have said.
Okay, so you're really about to play to that dumbass Fox News audience that they've never heard two people on the same network have disagreements. This is the new thing. Y'all are struggling that much. This should be a slam dunk. The fact that y'all have to keep coming out here and explain it tells us a lot. By the way, that police presence actually drives crime up. But, you know, y'all didn't hear it from me. Y'all didn't hear it from me. Because I can prove it.
A left-wing cabal. A left-wing cabal
now
is uncaring about the problems that regular Americans face. And all too often, it's poor people, Black Americans who live in the inner city. Everybody is concerned.
Got him. Because guess what? If he does go to Chicago, yeah, there's no poor people on the South Side, right? There's no poor areas in Oakland, right? There's no poor areas of Asian folk in Oakland, right? That's not there. You're right. You gotta let them talk long enough. This is them trying to clean up the inner city so the corporations and the city contractors can come in and see where they could divvy up so they can gentrify Black people out of these cities. Push all of us into 15-minute enclaves. That way they can say, yes, there's a constant flow of crime. It's in this area. These mothers ain't slick. But remember I told you I could prove that even with all them cops on the street, it really didn't do anything? You know how they said on X that, okay, you got crime is significantly down. Somebody said this on X. Crime is considerably down since Trump put out, you know, the edict that the feds could take over them cops, even though they lost control of it yesterday. Yeah. I thought y'all was supposed to prevent this. By the way, this wasn't in Sophie's. Again, this was not in Sophie's. This was not in Anacostia. This was in the Northeast. 3 a.m. It's almost like having more cops doesn't solve the problem. It's almost like when they love to send troops all over the world because that country's troops can't get the people under control. It seems like, yeah, you could send more troops over there. That'll just exacerbate the problem. What's up, Brother Tori? So remember when they said they deployed 800 agents in DC but only made like 100 arrests? Waste of manpower. It's a waste of manpower. But he can claim that they actually did something. But all right. Y'all got it.
Get to work! About whether or not they're going to get carjacked. Everybody is concerned about home invasions. Everybody is concerned.
Well, here's a solution. Let people carry in DC. You see crime go down. Oh, y'all don't want to talk to me. Mr. Horace Cooper. You don't want to have them conversations, huh? Let people carry in DC. You let them go through hoops to carry a gun. Let people in DC carry. You could have not only the regular citizens carry pieces. You can have politician boy them and females. You can let them carry since they're so scared to come out and go walk around at night. I'm sure they're not scared when they're going to Morton's, though. Sure they're not. Let them shoot them off. I bet people won't do nothing again. People down here in Atlanta can carry. You don't even need ID for that. As long as the gun is registered. It ain't the Wild West out here. You give people a reasonable suspicion that people are carrying, they don't get fucked with. But, you know, that's too much. I'm an anarchist for thinking that. I'll say it again. Let people carry.
Concerned about the epidemic of killing, where it is less safe in Washington, D.C. for your 16 or 17-year-old son to walk on the streets than it is in Baghdad.
Here we go. The script was laid out. We're going to start comparing DC to Baghdad, Tehran. We're going to compare them. What was that one? Bogota, Caracas. I'm surprised they didn't mention Rio because Rio got crime. But they like the way the Brazilian police be acting and the federales. I noticed he didn't mention down there in southern Mexico where the cartels really be hanging out at. I noticed he didn't do that. It's all what they call it? Brown cities, brown capitals. That's what somebody call it that. Brown capitals. That is a wild screenshot. I just saw it. It's like he's doing the Anthony Hopkins thing from Silence of the Lambs. That is insane. But go ahead, sir. I'm sure you're going to tell us more. Baghdad. He compared DC to Baghdad. And none of you conservatives said, hey, this motherfucker crazy. And by the way, no black conservative reposted this video. I wonder why.
Thank the president for taking this step. And I believe that we should continue. This isn't a 30-day project. This is a much, much longer project, but I see it working, and I see all of the beneficiaries with all of the angry people from the left who call him a racist when all he's doing is making it clear they're not solving the problems.
They're also
funny thing. I'm glad he said that. I'm really glad he said that. And again, I know y'all gonna call me a coon for saying that. I'm glad he said that because how do you explain, sir, that this happened yesterday? Explain this to us with your third Gumble brother looking self.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
My fault. I have to sign back in. But I need him to explain this to us. Via Reuters, DC police chief remains in command under deal with Trump administration. I need him to explain that. I don't even know why he didn't even sign me in. That's retarded. Anyway, I don't care. Yeah, explain that. They went to court yesterday and Muriel Bowser and them won. So how about that? I didn't know the father from Sister was in on this story. All right, say less. Yeah, but go ahead. Tell us more, because I know you got more.
also underfunding the police. They're about 800 shy. They just got supplemented by National Guards. By the way, a member of the police
he's doing is making it clear they're not solving the problems.
They're also underfunding the police. They're about 800 shy. They just got supplemented.
Underfunding. Huh.
By National Guards. By the way, a member of Chuck Schumer's detail when he travels just texted me and says that Senator Schumer has a full Capitol Police detail with them full time. He knows all of them. They're great guys. So Mr. Courage
Police,
walks around the streets of Washington fearless because he's got armed guards around him. Meanwhile, Tim Walz, thank goodness he's not the vice president, has a daughter who's speaking out and doing a selfie video. Let's watch together.
Trump's baby wussy scaredy cat behavior in DC. And it's always been like one form of another of like the US locking up people that aren't like rich and white and men.
Rich and white and
Did
men.
you learn anything?
Wait a
just
minute.
now?
Wait a minute. They let Caucasians, how you letting your women get out of pocket like that? Since y'all want to worry about black folks so much, I need y'all to get y'all women in line. Huh. But let's take a look at his statement. I'm just curious. He said they're underfunded. I just want to see if this is true. Now, I just looked this up, so I don't know the numbers, but I'm curious.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
Okay, so this was the budget for 2024 for Metro PD in DC. So this says 13,637,784. That's just for hiring. Just for hiring. And they say they wanted to add 147 new recruits, sworn in, ready to go. Well, recruits, I'm sorry. They're sworn in, ready to go to police academy. And also add new recruits that are cadet conversion and senior law enforcement, rehirings, retired members. Add new DEI and wellness. I'm sure they didn't see that. 6. Civilian people, 18. Crime scene transfers, backfills. Okay, so all in all, they want to get around 3,996, almost 4,000 people. Now, this was in projected end. This was around for 2024. Okay. So we're going to go back and look at what they said for 25. Let's see if they undercut them. Let's see. Underfunding them, huh? $5 million jump. Underfunding them, huh? They got more money. Again, remember, Biden said refund the police 4 times at the State of the Union. Huh. Okay. Let's see. More. Well, ain't that something? '24 was 147. 216. More cops. What was that recruit cadet conversion? 28 for 24. 40. Huh. 20 senior law enforcement. Kept the same number. Now look at this. Now this thing says CSA program. I don't even know what that is. They said this is new. Okay. 45. Customer service reps, 30. They're adding more people to the police force, but they're underfunding them. This is what that jackass said. Drone pilots. That wasn't on the other one. 5 drone pilots. Ironically, this was after Trump was about to get in when he put this up. Helicopter pilots, 2. CCTV engineers, 2. And you still want to tell me they're not trying to turn DC into a police state? Still want to tell me that? 4,261. Projected end the year prior was 3,996. Almost 5,000 here. The other one was 4,865. I want this jackass on Fox News. I know they weren't going to pull this up. I want him to explain that. And the third Gumble brother. I want him to explain that. Because they're trying that defund the police narrative again. And this ain't the first time the third Gumble brother tried that. And Torian, you'll love what we're going to show in a little while. But go ahead. Tell us more.
I actually am disappointed that I was forced to watch that. It's so sad. I feel dumber now than before I came on your program. Every person of goodwill understands this basic principle. If you engage in wanton, lawless behavior, you must be held accountable.
Like your president?
If the primary victims of that in the city happen to be Black, we don't care because we're people.
Say that again. Say it again.
You must be held accountable. If the primary victims of that in the city happen to be Black, we don't care because we're people of goodwill.
I don't want nobody to ever tell me again that Black conservatives actually give a fuck about Black people en masse. All those bullshit videos they've been putting out for the last week talking about they're so happy that Trump is doing this and this is a good thing. And that Jeffrey Mead asshole talking about, oh, Black people are conservative by nature. No, we're socially conservative. There's a difference. We're not conservative by nature. We're very moderate, but we're going to let you have it because you're retarded. I guarantee you, if I put this on their pages, they're not going to address that. Because that's how all of you think. We are back to blue so much, we just not like them white folk and just be outside up front with it. But we secretly want them boys in blue and them females in blue to crack you niggas' heads open like coconuts. Just so we can be distinguished away from y'all. By the way, I ain't screenshotting that.
Pause. He paused. I said pause, nigga. Mind you, LeBron is spending $2.5 million on his body. Pause.
I would give it to Barkley. Pause. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy, but I'll let you go. Pause. It's a luxury to have a big man. Pause. They gave him the soft one. The hard one. Pause. Pause, nigga.
Only the real bigots complain and would like to continue the status quo.
So the real bigots that don't want to see people get their heads cracked open on the street by them cops, they're bigots. People that don't want to see Black people being accosted by them cops, knowing the history of the cops in the Black community, they're bigots. Negro, I want you to go walk on the streets of DC. Don't nobody know you. You don't have a recognizable face. And don't tell me they wouldn't fuck with you. You could even wear that fucked up church suit you got on. I guarantee you them cops will mess with you. They'll start trying to stop and frisk you. But all right. I want to show y'all something. Because this is the Black conservative way. We're going to kiss Black people's ass when we need something. And then as soon as we get it, we're going to say, screw you. Did you know that he tried to kiss our ass last year? I know we just heard about this fool today. So you didn't catch it. But yeah, this jackass tried to kiss our ass last year. And as I said, Brother Torian, if you're still here, you'll see within the first paragraph how he tried to kiss our ass.
Let me go here. There's a growing concern.
And no, he did not try to bring us Tim Scott. He said in an opinion piece for Newsmax, blacks reject the left and its standard bearer, Joe Biden. A new book came out last month, The Grift, The Downward Spiral of Black Republicans from the Party of Lincoln to the Cult of Trump. It jumped almost immediately to the top 10 list on Amazon, likely propelled by desperate leftists eager to hear why their hatred of black conservatives doesn't make them racist. Sounds like somebody's pussy was in a little bit of a panic. Yes, no. Let me explain this to you, Horace. We don't like black conservatives because they're white supremacists. They're the children of Lee Atwater. They're the children of Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams. As great as y'all think those men are, those men signaled partly the downfall of black society going into the new millennium because they sat there and sold out black Republicans, real authentic black Republicans, for this new bullshit black conservative movement. A bunch of white kissing ass, what can I do for you today, massa? Yes, men and women. And it's no secret why all of them are either falling by the wayside, they left before the bullshit really started, or in the case of Horace Cooper, now trying to get on through the shrapnel and don't nobody care. He brought up Clay Cane's book. He said it was a bunch of leftists that didn't like what they were saying and how they were being portrayed. By the way, I bet you if I continue reading, he's going to knock the book. Let's see. The book is largely a fairy tale designed to allow progressives to sleep easier at night instead of worrying about the dramatic shift in political attitudes by blacks towards leftism and their lack of support for Biden's reelection. Okay. He's obviously been sitting in the Heritage Foundation lunchroom and Project 21's lunchroom, as evident on his weight shift. Sir, we were on Biden's helmet way before that. It just didn't happen because of the election. We were knocking that man all over the place, to the point we had a whole bunch of black leftists blocking us because they were real talkative when Trump was fucking up, and we were cool with it. But now you got a new administration in there, they're fucking up. We got questions. The black community voted him in, right? Okay. We actually did something that most of y'all don't do. When our leaders fuck up, we call them out. And we don't just do it to go viral. We actually have legitimate questions because we live in these people's districts. And we asked you point blank, why y'all not saying when Biden was giving all that money to Ukraine, why didn't y'all say something? When Biden put out that bullshit bill for infrastructure and the CHIPS Act, and it didn't work, why didn't y'all say something? Why didn't y'all say something when he put that kill switch initiative in the bill that would shut off electric cars starting next year? Why didn't you say something? When he gave the Asian community $50 million and a task force and a law to protect them, but still didn't give black folks, but he claimed he loved black folks, why didn't you say something? Why didn't y'all go after Kamala Harris when she said what she said about doing things for black people is supposed to help everybody else, when you know damn well she wouldn't have said that for any other group? Why didn't you call her out when she didn't want to go see the victims at the funeral of the top shooting? By the way, for the update, that son of a bitch is trying to come out of jail now, talking about the grand jury was too white and the other jury was too white. Oh, you can go look up that story. But this book triggered you because black people were getting away. You think black people were getting away from conservatism and being moderates and running to the left when that's not even the case. We're going to continue reading. Sorry for that rant. It purports to provide a sharp rebuke for blacks again, who are either self-identified conservatives or who call themselves Republican. It largely claims that the progressive policies pushed by self-appointed leaders like Al Sharpton and Stacey Abrams would give blacks again the boost the community desires if they were simply not undermined by skeptical black voices. Okay, I hate Stacey Abrams with a passion. Y'all know that, but the people in Georgia voted her in, so she's not self-appointed leader. And by the way, you conservatives helped her rise as well as the left because y'all couldn't shut the fuck up about her. By the way, you black conservatives weren't the reason why she lost. Okay. Rather than make a positive case for these unpopular progressive policies, including those of the Biden administration, the main thesis appears to be that skeptics are bribed or somehow on the take in exchange for selling out. Well, you already proved that, sir. This dated trope, while never true, has increasingly become stale because it's more useless now than ever. Who want to tell him? Who want to tell him? They were still playing with the grift. And they made money off of it. More and more blacks again, see that the strategies being pushed by the so-called leaders simply don't work and they are looking for alternatives. Here's the truth. Too many of those who claim to speak for blacks again, merely parrot policy initiatives of woke progressives. Woke. We were waiting for this word to pop up. Now we just look for Thomas Sowell, who are overwhelmingly white. They not only don't work, they are unpopular with blacks. These ivory tower policies are a throwback to the pre-civil rights era. The dramatic increase in the number of blacks again, who identify as conservative is just the outworking of this reality. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sir, there was not some big black conservative wave. Most black folks said, you know what? I'm just going to leave the Democrat Party and stay independent. You saw some Negroes outside wearing MAGA hats. I think that was the entirety of the black community. I'm sorry, blacks. I tell you, they're dumb. No reading, no research. Anyway, there's no good lesson to be learned from the second kick of a mule. Blacks again don't seek yesterday's solution. We want to live the American dream, and take part of the prosperity that America offers, not turn the clock backward. There once was a time when Americans of all stripes embraced policies involving greater government intervention in the free market and also with social policy. We didn't know any better. Yet you just sat here over a year and a half later and you were lauding greater government intervention. You see how you can't with these people. Within 18 months, that check cleared, and he said it. He's for more government. Oh, hey, I'm glad, Reverend, you voted for this. I want to show you something later. I want you to tell me if you voted for that. During the Great Depression, Washington experimented with a host of regulations and dictates that took choices away from Americans broadly. During the Great Society era, Washington expanded on these approaches and included new so-called anti-poverty programs that would promote strong families, reduce hunger and homelessness, as well as lower crime. There's now a consensus among political scientists that government interference during the Great Depression likely made things worse. In other words, economic growth was curtailed more and unemployment stayed higher longer. Tragically, blacks suffered the most. Where unemployment among black men prior to the Great Depression was lower than average, black male unemployment is now the highest in America because you don't want us working and contributing because, you know, we would do a lot better than most folks because we actually hustle out here. But, you know, it's another subject for another day. Increasingly, a similar realization is occurring all around the ill effects of misinformed social policy. I ain't reading the rest of this because he's just talking shit now. What is this about inflation? Let me look. He said, would-be black leaders have consistently supported efforts by Washington to spend and spend. Oh, okay. That's your opinion. Anyway, I want to take a look at something. Now, Torian played the video yesterday of homeboy throwing the sandwich. It was hilarious. But since old Horace said what he said, and now we figured out that he's for big government, I'm sure he was happy as hell when this happened.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
What this be? Dramatic video shows feds rearresting Subway sandwich slinger after he pelted officer with hero in D.C. They arrested him again. Now, for those who don't know, he went in front of that judge and the judge let him out. Let me look. The Justice Department worker accused, well, it's now former, of throwing a Subway sandwich at a federal agent was rearrested by an armed team of at least half a dozen U.S. Marshals in a dramatic Wednesday night raid, new video shows. U.S. Marshals. So now he's a fugitive? Say less. Sean Charles Dunn, 37, was cuffed the second time inside his apartment about a mile northwest of the White House after being slapped with a felony assault charge. So local police said it's cool, whatever. Judge said you can go home. Y'all went and arrested him again. Footage of the raid was posted by the White House on X Thursday evening with the caption, "Nighttime Routine, Operation Make DC Safe Again Edition." Let me look. They put raid horns. Okay, but y'all want to tell me they ain't trying for the police states. Say less. And by the way, I love how y'all gonna tell me y'all voted for this, but they out here filming them arresting people. They have a whole camera crew for this. But y'all cool with this. I know, MAGA, y'all cool with this. Coming to a nice suburban development near you. There goes Mr. Dunn. Whoever his people is, I go get a lawyer and a private investigator and make sure he's still around. He might be gotten sent to Gitmo. I'm just saying. No, Jesse Lee Peterson is a black conservative. It's not a black Republican. And I'm glad you brought him up because he fell off faster than he did off that stool. But there you go. That's what they like. That's what they say they voted for. Let me look. In the same statement, Bondi announced Dunn was fired from his post as an international affairs specialist working to help extradite criminal suspects to and from the U.S. This is an example of the deep state we have been up against for 7 months as we work to refocus DOJ. The AG said, you will not work with this administration while disrespecting our government and law enforcement. So now he's deep state. Hey, white men. Red flag Bondi just said he will be the avatar of the deep state. And MAGA, since y'all want to tell me, oh, he was a leftist thing, this, that, and the third, fine. How many times have y'all said there was a bunch of Republicans and conservatives that were part of the deep state as well? So you have somebody in the Trump administration just tell you they can't blur the lines. You just now had a white woman in power tell you there's a war on white men when it comes to articles of the deep state. I hope you're happy. He thought it was funny. DC U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro said Wednesday in announcing a federal case. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony assault on a police officer. So there, stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else. That's going to be a great lawsuit when he beats this. Dunn made an initial court appearance Thursday and was released on his own recognizance. ROR. Now they're going to say that the judge was too liberal. A preliminary hearing was set for September 4th. The suspect initially was arrested Sunday night after allegedly berating a group of Customs and Border Protection officers as fascists before pelting one with his late night snack in what observers said appeared to be an alcohol-fueled rage. Now, this was before Trump put them folk out there on the street. So I ask a question. Why was CPB outside in DC? I need somebody to explain this to me. I'm going to read that again. The suspect initially was arrested Sunday night after allegedly berating a group of Customs and Border Protection. I just used to call them Border Patrol, but officers as fascists before pelting one with his late night snack in what observers described as an alcohol-fueled rage. Oh yeah, Subway was trending yesterday. Subway sandwich was trending. But again, and that was a nice area of DC. So what are y'all telling me, CBP? What y'all telling us? Y'all know there's some illegals up there. And y'all wasn't doing nothing. Y'all were just standing there. But of course, MAGA is not going to address that. Trump supporters of any political or ideological leaning, they're not going to answer that question. Why were they there? They're supposed to be guarding the border. They're supposed to be guarding our nation's airports, our waterways, hell, even the bus stops. Why are y'all in the middle of a nice neighborhood in DC? Trump announced a surge of federal officials to help DC police fight violent crime August 7th and escalated the effort Monday by asserting federal control over the Metropolitan Police Department, mobilizing the National Guard. Dunn wielded his deli weapon at the intersection of DC's 14th and U Streets, across from a McDonald's where a 16-year-old was stabbed to death in 2023 in a dispute over sweet and sour sauce. Now, you just had to bring that up, right? Just a couple blocks north of the site, a crowd of hecklers appeared to prompt federal agents to discontinue a vehicle checkpoint on Wednesday night. Okay. There's that. Guess where else Horace belongs to? I'm going to let y'all be interactive today. I'm going to let y'all guess what else he's being a member or fellow to. He might be dangerous. He's not only on Fox News, which I'm going to show you another video that he was on. This one is older. He went to Newsmax. Let's see if I think I have that video. They say that Sean Dunn, they said 20 officers had to arrest him. 20. Yeah, And for those who don't believe me, there's the People magazine article. 20 cops. And he's so gangster. He said, I did it. He's so gangster. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's see what y'all said. Turning Point USA? Nope. Toilet Paper Association? Nope. Newsmax? Nope. DOJ? Nope. I figured y'all probably wouldn't have gotten it. But y'all will get it when I show it to you. And then you're going to be like, holy gee willikers. Where is it? I want to make sure I have it up when we send it over there. Here we go. Y'all ready?
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern in.
Yeah. The Federalist Society. And if you know Professor Black Truth, you know about the Federalist Society. As I said, I'm going to be watching this man. He said this back in 2022. Massive increase in Black Americans murdered was a result of defund police movement. Experts. Even though they never defunded these cops, they just ran with it. Let's look and hear what the third Gumble brother said.
Just weeks away from a vote on a sweeping measure that would limit the size, scope, and influence of its current police department. And the referendum is happening against the backdrop of a spike in violent crime in the city where George Floyd was killed 16 months ago. Let's discuss this test of a big city police department overhaul with former Hennepin County, Minnesota Sheriff Rich Stanek and Project 21 co-chair Horace Cooper. Glad to have you both with us.
Thank you.
So let's talk about a little bit more of what we're hearing about those stats on murders being up. In the Hill, it says murders up 30% in largest increase on record. It says this forthcoming FBI crime report will show murders increased about 29% amid the coronavirus pandemic in 2020, eclipsing the previous largest one-year change of 12.7% in 1968.
Well, damn. It's almost like when you get rid of people's resources, crime will go up. It's almost like when something traumatic happens that year, crime is going to go up. Family. We all took history class, did we not? I think we did. What happened in 1968? We'll do another one. The year of the Most High, 1968. What happened that year? I hate these people. And I try not to hate people, but I can't. How my man said it? My man Grady said, I dislikes a criminal, but I hates a dumb one. I dislike a conservative. Well, these type of conservatives, but I hate these dumb ones. I really do. Thank you. They took out MLK and the country lost their mind. Riots all over the place. People were getting deleted. People were being hurt. It's almost like something traumatic happens and they think that everybody's just going to go about their day. Yeah. Okay.
Get to work!
And yet, Horace, this is at the same time we're having conversations about having fewer police on the streets.
And the fact that this idiot blonde really thought that Biden and them were going to defund the police, when during the same scamdemic, they were losing cops left and right because they wouldn't want to take the Bell Biv DeVoe or the Ascension. Huh. Fine, I'll say it since nobody else wants to say it. Conservatives and Republicans defunded the police. We'll say it.
Absolutely been devastating for too many communities. Even in those communities with fewer than 250,000, you are seeing the signs of what happens when the signal is sent that there will not be accountability. You absolutely have to say to lawbreakers that there are going to be consequences. The defund the police movement has been part of a broader effort to essentially say, we feel sorry for you, the criminal, and we're going to try to excuse your bad behavior. This is devastating. And this is the kind of thing that I thought that America learned from the decisions that we made in the late 50s and 60s to decriminalize. It took to the 80s to finally come back to the reality. Is it going to take that long again?
After you made everybody cracked out, after you fearmongered everybody about the war on drugs, which the Reagan administration and Oliver North helped facilitate. But you're right. You conservatives know what y'all talking about. Make America Great Again caused the 80s drug war. MAGA created the 80s drug war. Y'all can go tell MAGA that and tell them where you got it from.
I hope not. But now we look to Minneapolis, where they're going to have this vote. It says under the Yes for Minneapolis initiative, the Minneapolis Police Department would be replaced with the Department of Public Safety. Now, that would eliminate the required minimum number of officers per capita and replacing some with social workers, mental health experts, and crisis managers, effectively defunding the local police by reallocating funds to other city services. Rich.
Yeah, so this is a classic abolish and defund the police. It's on the ballot for November 2nd. And you talked about the FBI and, 30% increase in homicides this year over last year. Minneapolis is on pace to outdo that easily. We're way ahead of last year's homicide pace. Year to date, our violent crime is skyrocketing. Just this morning, a group of residents in North Minneapolis, one of the neighborhoods, sent a letter to our governor saying, please, governor, declare Minneapolis a war zone, call in National Guard, call in state troopers, give us the help and the safety and security we need to live our lives.
So you're saying residents actually want more folks on the ground there in uniform. Okay.
Oh boy. The reason why I stopped this, family, we have some breaking news. Somebody last night got arrested that you may remember, you might not. I talked about this person on the channel before. As we have said in the past, we don't mind you protecting Black people, but if you're going to do it from the heart and not just for a photo op. This person, I'm pretty sure, did it for the latter.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern in
who you see on the screen, not consciously, this Negro, but we already talked about that Negro. He ain't the subject of this. The subject is the woman in the middle of the video. That is a Feeney X. And like I said, I talked about her on this channel. And she get to blocking everybody when you call her out on her BS. She got arrested in DC yesterday. They say that she was protecting DC youth in a curfew zone. Now, this might be up there by the Navy Yard. I don't know if the curfew zone is still on. This could be from last week. But let's look.
I want people to know that this is a fascist takeover of DC.
Well, it looked like they pepper sprayed her. All right. Or mace, whatever they call it.
And that our youth are going to be directly impacted by this. Get out of the way. It doesn't fucking matter about me.
And they sent the Black officer to run crowd control. Let's get it.
I will be fine. Our kids will not be.
This. All right. I don't care about your commentary, sir. I just wanted them to see that part. Yeah, she got arrested. He said free her. Now we good. She don't care about Black folk. This is a political stunt. But anyway, let's continue with old boy. And then I'm going to go cook pepper steak. And I probably shouldn't have said that because he probably heard me. He want a plate.
I thought this was interesting. Forbes has looked at a number of places that are talking about defunding, and this is a little bit long, but I want to read this. It says, in 25 major U.S. cities across the country, officials have already cut or have proposed cutting funds from police budgets. But in as many as 20 of those same cities, mayors and other city officials enjoy the personal protection of a dedicated police security detail.
Absolutely.
We found that the defunding of police, coupled with taxpayer dollars spent on police securities details protecting public officials only.
Again, we already explained that. The cops were gone. They quit. So that was a procedural measure to lower the budget. They had less cops. As much as those fools kept saying defund the police, we knew they weren't going to do it. And what date was this? April 19th. So this was after, I want to say, Biden said what he said. But okay.
Only occurred in cities run by Democratic mayors. Horace.
Well, absolutely. You know, here's what this is a little bit reminiscent of. It was only a couple of centuries ago when people who were sick, the doctors diagnosed that they needed to be bled. They needed to have leeches attached to them. We now know that it would have been better to have done none of this. The only thing that would have made that worse if we found out that those doctors that were recommending the leeches were actually not using the leeches on themselves, because that's what's happening now. The unbelievably god-awful destruction of this defund the police, decriminalize movement has been devastating to grandmas, to 4-year-olds, to people all across, causing all kinds of mayhem, disruption, and
yet You had Republicans that voted for that. Yeah. Anyway, y'all. There's that. We ain't got nothing else to say. I could play his Clanity interview. I could play that. Maybe we'll play that. But it's the same one he said before. He say that the race hustlers need the urban crime to keep going. Dare I say conservatives need to keep going, so we'll have something to talk about. Again, I keep telling y'all conservatives, they're going to end up showing up in y'all's neighborhoods. Then what? What are we going to say then? Because you ain't going to give us credit. But maybe when it happens, we'll see. Maybe you'll have a change of tune. And then you can tell us you voted for this. But anyway, y'all, hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. Got some uploads on the way. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. So we will see you when we see you. Y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.
Oh, here it goes!
Time's up.
Get your ass up! We gotta get out of here now!
But did we have a good time here? Hello?
Gotta get your groove on!
At the end of the day gotta end.
That's it.